Hello, everybody, and welcome to Cinema Savvy. It's myself, George, and today I am bringing you a review on the new film, The Power of the Dog. This is, of course, a film that premiered at the Venice Film Festival. That's also been at London Film Festival, which is why I've been able to get a review. This was one of the last films I was able to see in person. This obviously happened on Monday, and I will say this is the penultimate review from the festival on the channel. Obviously, Tragedy at Macbeth is going to be the final one, which I'm looking forward to seeing. So, as always, which is going to be worth mentioning, we've got a playlist on the channel of everything we've done from the festival thus far. Last night in Soho. Oh god, there's so many already. As I said, Tragedy Macbeth is coming up. We've also had reviews for The French Dispatch, which I did with Charlie, Mass, Boiling Points, uh, so many of us, Spencer as well. So a big thank you to everyone that's been checking those out, that's been tuning into them. It's been really fun to cover it again. And as the penultimate film today, and if you have seen this film, I want to know your thoughts in the comments below. This is going to be a really interesting review, I think, because this film has such a lasting impact on me as sort of initial point. So do hit that subscribe button if you do like these videos, and of course comment along, hit the like button. We've got a lot more reviews coming on the way. As you said, Tragedy and Macbeth. We've also got a Venom review coming on Wednesday, The Last Duel on Friday. Dune's going to get another spoiler discussion on the channel, so still a lot more coming away. Hit that subscribe button, and if you are new to the channel, if you're not familiar with what we do, the best way to find out what videos are coming up and when is get on our social medias, which is Twitter at Cinema Savvy, Facebook.com/Cinema Savvy, and Letterboxd.com/Cinema Savvy. So hit us up on there. We're very active on there, always announcing what we're doing. So that is the place to be. However, as we said, this is a review on The Power of the Dog, and this is the newest Jane Campion film, which is worth mentioning. She's not directed a film in about 14 years. And I will say I'm not familiar with her work. I've heard of The Piano. I know that's getting a Criterion release. I know that was very successful at the Oscars, and this has been a very anticipated film for a lot of people, starring Benedict Cumberbatch, Kirsten Dunst, Jesse Plemons, to name a few. And this is one I didn't see a trailer heading in for. I knew essentially nothing about the film, and I think this is what made it really sort of fascinating. We keep joking that 8 in the morning can be too early for some of these, and it absolutely was for this one. This is without doubt one of the best films I've seen this year. As a heads up, straight in. This is a western, and it focuses on the Burbank brothers, one of which is a played by Jesse Plemons, either played by Benedict Cumberbatch. One of them settles down, marries a widow, takes in the steps in as well. Whereas Benedict Cumberbatch is very set in his ways on being on a ranch and being sort of the aggressive brother of the two. And so I'm going to really delve into plot wise because there was just so much to unpack. And as every hour went by after the film, every day's gone by, I just keep coming back to this film and how powerful it was. So straight away with Jane Campion, I know it's an adapted screenplay that was from a book from the 60s, I believe, or it was a short story. I'm not too sure on the origin of that, but to adapt this into the screenplay, this was filmed, I think, before and during or after COVID, filmed in New Zealand as well, which was one of the few countries to get it right, I'd say, at the starting point of COVID. And it's a stunning film to look at visually. I'm going to talk about the cinematography before the characters. This was incredible to watch, and there's so much to take in with westerns. And as a sort of prelude to the Lord of the Rings stuff later this year, New Zealand is one of the most beautiful countries to film in, and absolutely in this one you do get a sense of that. That the cinematography is on point, just the landscape, the locations, and when you're being a period films, set in the that's in the early sort of 1920s or 1820s. Apology, I think it's 1920s. This is one of those where you can completely understand why this was made, why the decision with this film to shoot there, to film there, being on location. It was just visually a stunning film to look at. And obviously, you want a bit more than style, and this film has the substance as well. And in terms of a character piece, I'm going to kickstart with Benedict Cumberbatch playing Phil Burbank. He steals this film. I know he's the lead. He is going to get an Oscar campaign, and I think he is 100% got a very good chance of winning Best Actor at the Oscars. This is, I think, his best performance to date. I've seen, obviously Sherlock. Obviously, I mean, Doctor Strange isn't a great performance, but it's very much him. But of all these Benedict Cumberbatch performances, people put right at the top. I think I forgot the Alan Turing film, but to me, Benedict Cumberbatch in this was terrifying. We've never really seen him stray into this uncomfortable region. When you look at a Benedict Cumberbatch film, so often you can get the same performance, which isn't a bad thing, but you're in safe hands with a Benedict Cumberbatch performance. But this film, he is genuinely terrifying. His character has spawns on the bottom of his boots, but they're almost a character in themselves that you always hear of his presence before he comes. And I think he's just quite terrifying to be around. That he's playing havoc on Kirsten Dunst, who is the his essentially his sister-in-law, who's a widow, and he takes joy in terrorizing so many characters on screen, and he is just so good at doing it as well. So I want to give a massive shout out to that performance. He was absolutely incredible, and he's the center of this film. He does have character development. His character is full circle, and it's a very fascinating character. I think is going to stick with people for many years to come. So 100% Benedict Cumberbatch for me is this film is worthy of him being this good with everything going right. And this goes back to Jane Campion again, that there's someone that's not familiar with her work. I thought this was incredible, and this is right up there with the best films of the year for me. And then I want to also, I've got a couple of other characters to speak about. Of course, Kirsten Dunst comes in this film. She was very good. She's in very much a supporting role. She's playing a widow who's been took into the family, and it's lovely to see. Obviously, it might not be the last time you see her this year. I kept laughing during the screening because her son in it's called Peter, and the sad Spider-Man fan in me obviously found that very funny whenever she was calling Peter's name, thinking, "Please say we're going to get this in December." So Kirsten Dunst was solid in this film, as was Jesse Plemons. I actually think Jesse Plemons was slightly underused. I think he's such a superb actor. He's great in so many things. Even in Jungle Cruise earlier this year, we were speaking really highly of him. And in this film, I just think we don't get. However, that his character not being on screen gives us more time with Cumberbatch, with Kirsten Dunst. So I think that's really important that he does dip in and out, but he still has the sort of soothing presence, and he's just such a likable actor as well. So I've really enjoyed Jesse Plemons, and we also have the character, as I mentioned earlier, Kirsten Dunst has the son. It's played by Cody Smith McPhee. Peter, he is terrifying in this film as well. A very uncomfortable performance, which is done intentionally. He's a young student that's essentially being bullied, and he wants to become a doctor. So we get to spend a lot of time with him, and his relationship with Benedict Cumberbatch is something that's very much at the forefront for a lot of the film, and is a very interesting character. And if you have seen the film, you'll know what I mean by that as well. But as I said, this is a character piece. This is a study. But I think when you have these period films, you need that cinematography, especially when you're in somewhere like New Zealand. And I really want to mention the soundtrack as well, done by Johnny. I think it's Johnny. Apologies, from Radiohead. He also did the Spencer soundtrack that me and Tate spoke about. A very good soundtrack in this film. I don't think it was as good as it was in Spencer, but it accommodated the film very well, and it felt like you needed something like that for a Western. And one thing I'll say about this festival is that it's really made me want to go play Red Dead Redemption again. The Harder They Fall. This is the second Western from this festival. The Harder They Fall was just all out fun, guns blazing, shoot them up, old school Western done modern, and that was great. And this is the character piece, the study piece. It's not massively long. It's 2 hours 10 minutes, but there's so much to take in with this film. This is going to get released on Netflix. It will have a cinema release first. Very much a part of the Oscar BAFTA stuff is you need that cinema release to sort of get it guaranteed. But this film I really recommend seeing on the big screen. It is uncomfortable to watch, but you want to be able to take in those locations, take in the scenery, the production values, because it feels like an authentic period piece. And so many period pieces do get that wrong, where you can spot things that look far too modern. And even a shout of this to some of the, I mean, Taminton Mackenzie's in this, and she's in like the most minor role, but you raise it. Of course, she's from New Zealand. This was filmed in New Zealand, so it's very much an ensemble, and the forefront of this one is Benedict Cumberbatch. And to me, sort of giving my final thoughts on the film, it's what I said earlier, that I don't throw around the term masterpiece a lot. I might jokingly to it very often, but this is a genuine masterpiece as far as I'm concerned. This film, there was so much to take in, and I'm really going to be rooting for this at the Oscars. This is going to be up for so many awards. I think Jane Campion won the Golden Lion at Venice, or Silver Lion, I'm not sure what they call it, for essentially Best Director, but 100% this film is going to be at the forefront of next year's Oscars. This is definitely worth checking out in your spare time. It's just so different. And if you're a Cumberbatch fan, you might not need to advertise, but it's just so nice to see him play a completely different kind of character than he's done before, because we know he's a great actor, and no one needs to be reminded how good an actor Benedict Cumberbatch is. But it's nice to see him doing something that's far more daring than he's done for a while. And hats off to him. It must be very torturous to go in depth on a character this despicable. And I think that's where some of the joy comes from, that we're seeing him in a way we've not seen before. And that's kind of where my final thoughts lie of the film. I do recommend this film. Do seek out and watch it as soon as you can, as close to the race or during the Oscars. This will be in the conversation this year, and that is not one I'd want you to miss out on. So that is my short review on The Power of the Dog. And as always, we're just going to round off with some of the other places you can find us and whatnot. So, as I said, comment below your thoughts. If you have seen this film, want to know your thoughts on this, hit the like button, do comment. I'll be like replying to those messages. And do subscribe if you're new to the channel. Got a couple more videos coming for the festival. We've got our red carpet interviews from the Titan premiere last night in Soho and Belfast. They're being edited as we speak, so they will be up on the channel in the next couple of days. So, do stick around for them. And also, we've got the Tragedy of Macbeth, which will be the final review from the festival. So still got more London Film Festival content for you. It's been a joy to cover it, and obviously we've had Tayte, who's seen a lot of them as well. I've had Charlie come on, so a big thank you to everyone for helping out. And obviously we've got our James Bond ranking video coming this Tuesday. We're going to be recording this at the time this video goes up. This is going to be a very, very big video. It's the lovely cap off to the James Bond retrospective, what we've been building towards the last 6 months. So do check that out. That's going to be a lot of fun to record. It's been amazing to get everyone's results, and that's this Tuesday, the 19th of October. And as always, if you want to find out where we are on social medias, we're on Twitter at cinema_savvy, facebook.com/cinemasavvy, and letterboxd.com/cinemasavvy. Just want to add on Letterboxd, we now have a little London Film Festival list as well, so you can see the films we've covered, including the interviews. That'll bring straight back to the playlist on YouTube, so do check that out. And once more, I want to thank everybody for watching at home. Be sure to see you on the next one. Take care.